vulnerable society. Now that we could talk about this justice. I said cry for justice. How will you get justice? You have to get justice only through constitutional procedure. Someone is doing harm to somebody, physical assault, you cannot just return back. You can only go and complain. Your complaint will be taken and there will be a FIR. You have the charge, it should be charge sheeted, and the CRPC will come into force, and the department will search what is the provision in IPC and what is the punishment which should be given to the guy who assaulted you. Okay, it's only a punishment to those who have done the assault, who have done the crime. But what happened to your dignity? You are the victim. Suppose a theft has happened. Suppose a murder has happened in a place. And what is somebody's place? And see, the culprit is taken and he is taken into prison, and then the court proceedings are going on. But what has happened to the family? What has happened to the family of those who are the victims of crime? I'm talking about the victims of crime. The human rights is that it's only the justice, cry for justice only for those who have done the great mistake. They have been punished. It's not only that, the victims also should be consoled, they must be compensated, and it is not being done. It's a very, very, very pathetic situation in our country. There was a treaty in the United Nations which is called the Victimological Compensation Act. This is the treaty. So all the treaties and all the covenants, all this being signed internationally, and when the 193 nations who are the members of the United Nations go back to their countries and they try to incorporate these covenants into acts. So they bring a draft bill and bring it to the legislative parliament and introduce the Indian parliament, and it has to be passed in Lok Sabha and then again Rajya Sabha, and then it should be, the president has to give an assent, and it will become an act. So the pathway from international governance treaties to being an act, being a legislation in our country is a long way. Even a kind of mental safety act, a mental health act, you know that it is there now. Mental Health Act, everybody knows about it, Even for that, we need the United Nations covenants. See, we borrow everything internationally and how it is happening in the other countries and how it should be brought. The problem is the covenants and all the resolutions being passed internationally may not be very accommodative, may not be suitable for our country, so they are not being strictly adhered. These local rules and legislations may not be same as it is the international standards. So we have some problem. And again, see, the British colonial rule, that is what the reason that we brought the constitutional protection for safeguard of human rights and right to live with dignity. So right to live with dignity only in the fundamental rights part 1, part 3 of the Constitution, and what the government should do to give you a kind of all these welfare measures, and we call it welfare society, how the people should be protected, how people should live a very good, decent living. It's all the part 4 of the Constitution, and it is the government's duty. But very interestingly, this fundamental rights only if there is an infringement in the fundamental rights, then only you can go to the court of law and get the remedy out of it. But in part 4, Article 36 to 51 of the Constitution, these are all main welfare laws, welfare articles in the Constitution, which are not mandatory by the government to do it. They always say, no, we don't have funds. We don't have funds to do. We don't have funds to do a lot of things for the downtrodden and backward people, and lots of reasons are there. So every time you have the different reasons, these articles, all these laws may not be useful for alleviating the problem of the poor and needy and the people who are in the bottom level of the society. And human rights law and humanitarian law. Human rights law is, that is the constitution. When there is no war, when there is no peace. But humanitarian law is when there is war, when there's something happening, and people, the civilian population being as the targets, and prisoners of wars, cross-border terrorism, influx of refugees, sick and wounded soldiers, especially if you think about Syria. The worst humanitarian crisis of our time what started as a peaceful cry for freedom has descended into devastating civil war. Humanitarian law, human rights law. Human rights law in the constitution and all the procedures. Humanitarian law, it is natural justice. Natural justice, this is what the human rights. We can say this is against natural justice. Lynching. Another lynching? Public. You just kill somebody in public. Mob violence. An encounter death, you know that what has happened now. Maybe a natural justice for the offenders, but maybe wrong as in the constitutional justice. Which way you are going to choose? Natural justice is based on compassion, but not on retaliation. It is not on retaliation. Natural justice is compassion. I could listen to your song, what you were singing so nice. When there's no way, there's a way. I think you sang one song. I couldn't follow the words properly. So there's always a way that you can just come out of any difficult times.